We are back with another episode of the Marbella Way. And what is it? It is a global megatrend. People want to transform their lives. They want experiences, travel the world, live the dream. We're talking about Marbella. We spent more than 10 years there, but you could have any other dream destination in mind. Today, the topic is Hollywood. And what better place to start doing that than in Hollywood itself? But not only that, it's actually Hollywood in Europe that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Marbella, Costa del Sol, Andalusia, which has been the setting for multiple Hollywood productions over the last couple of decades. And let's mention some of them.
I couldn't agree with you more. This is very exciting to talk about Hollywood. This is the right place. We are in the right setting, and it's only positive news. So if you're not into positive news, maybe you should just find somewhere else to look at. Because we are going to talk about
Our channel
Hollywood.
is positive news, and actually since I was a child, I was always dreaming about being part of a channel that only brings the positive news. And then you could say, is
Well,
that...
here you go.
You could say,
You
is that biased? It's not, because we get all the bad news everywhere else. So it's just balancing things a little bit. So today, Hollywood in Europe, Marbella.
And people
What productions do you know?
People could sit there now and think, oh, Hollywood, why do we have to talk about Hollywood? You know, people like to label Hollywood, or they like to label people. Oh, if you are talking about Hollywood, you're probably this and this, and Hollywood is bad. And you can always, talk about the negative side of it.
Yeah.
And it's the same with people. People love to label each other, if you wear too much makeup or whatever, you are dressed differently. I think it's just a human thing that we like to put people in a little bit small boxes and label them.
There are always good...
Today we are unlabeled.
There are always good and bad things you can talk
labels.
about. But the thing is, this is not the responsibility of the place. What is Hollywood? Hollywood is, as everybody knows, the most influential platform in the world.
And you can mean that what you want, but it's a fact.
It's up to people themselves. If they get something good or bad out of that, it's up to their intentions. It's got nothing to do with the place. So let's start talking about the place. Here we got a few mountains around called the Hollywood Hills. When you look up there, you see a sign. I remember that sign from when I was about 5 years old, and I was looking at the only TV channel in Denmark. And I saw that Hollywood sign. One day I imagined I'm going to be there one day. And actually I was standing up there recently for the first time. It was amazing. It was amazing. Because I like to interpret this place in the most positive way possible. Why not? Because we're creating our future, our moments, our joy, our happiness every single day. So let's imagine the best possible scenario for the future. Nothing has been perfect anyway, but let's do the best we can, right? So if you look at that, you have the sign there. We don't have that in Marbella. We don't have a sign, but we have the beautiful mountains are there.
We actually had a Marbella sign before, a little bit like ACA Hollywood sign before.
Yeah.
Maybe they updated it. I'm not sure about that, but it has been there before.
But what we do have is we have some beautiful, beautiful landscapes that we've been talking about. More than 80 beaches on the whole of Costa del Sol. Natural landscapes, little Argentina, mountains, green areas, perfect settings in the old traditional Spanish villages for movies. And what movies, if we should start talking about some of the...
We can say that it's a lot of overlaps if you talk about Marbella and Hollywood, because it kind of attracts people who want something in their life. They want, excitement, they want to create something, they want to be in a place where there is good energy and people meet, vice versa.
It's people who have, whatever they've achieved in their life, they want to take their life to the next level. So there is a community of wealthy people, and wealth, of course, is not only finances, it's just the wealth of our dreams, the wealth of our aspirations, the wealth of our life quality, the wealth of our families, the way that we hopefully like ourselves and everyone else around us. We should be around people that are worth being around, right? So it's people who are aspirational that are attracted to places like Marbella and Hollywood, Los Angeles. It's similar groups. So you have dreamers there. And of course, not all dreams get wings. But does that mean that we shouldn't pursue our dreams just because every single dream doesn't get wings? I don't think so. Because otherwise, what would be the fun of it, or the sport, or the challenge If it was just like, oh, of
walk in
course
the
it's going to
park.
happen,
Yeah.
then it's not really, the dream. Maybe you should then aim higher. So people coming here and coming to Marbella are people that want the next level in their life that they want to achieve, right? And we have to remember we are our only competitor. We should not compare ourselves to anybody else than ourselves. So we just need to try to be better than we were
That is
yesterday.
Good,
right?
good.
So
mantra.
the topic of this is to talk about, this platform of influence that Hollywood is, and that it has actually, let's say, spread to Marbella. That there's been multiple productions there, celebrated TV shows like, for example, Game of Thrones.
Yes, Game of Thrones, and we was also talking about before the wonderful place we know in Ronda, the vineyard, Ramos Paul, that it was also offered by the Game of Thrones, as a location, but they had to,
And they filmed there from 2011 to 2019. And they wanted to refurbish the wine cellar, but they were not allowed to do that because then they would actually damage the wine. So they didn't allow them to. But they recorded there in the Andalusian landscapes for 8 years. So that was a big production.
And also
to say the
recently
least.
I watched a very good Netflix series called The Snow Girl.
Snow
which
Girl.
is also filmed in, the surroundings of, Andalusian.
And what is that movie about, just in short, or
So
TV series?
So every year you have this feria, or we talked about that before. The Three Kings. It's a procession. It's like a day where families go out, celebrate life, celebrate. The three things are coming. Three kings are coming to give presents
And throw candy at people.
and throw candy at people. So it's about a girl who will get kidnapped,
Yeah.
and that's basically it's about the whole stories. How they find her, where she's hiding, but it's definitely a very good TV series in Spanish.
And then we have the thought-provoking TV series called Black Mirror. Have you seen that yourself?
I haven't, but it is on my bucket list.
That was featuring Malaga,
bucket
the province of Malaga, and Puerto Banús as well. We've talked about both places, so that was Black Mirror. Then we have Toy Boy from 2019.
Did you watch that?
I have not watched that.
Maybe someone out there.
Toy Boy, I don't know. I don't know, but
No idea.
I didn't select that title. But it was created,
We have to look that up.
and it was about the nightlife of Costa del Sol.
The Toy Boy.
Yes,
Okay.
the lavish clubs and so on. Yeah.
Interesting.
And another one is La
out there.
Reina del Sur in Spanish.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, so we have some work to do. We haven't seen all of these productions, but
Unfortunately
we
not.
just want to make sure we mention them so that we have the full catalog of productions from Andalusia. Let's move on to one that we know quite well called Sun for Millions that we
TV
happen
series.
to be in ourselves. That was the biggest TV series, 8 episodes made by Discovery Networks, and it was featuring the lifestyle of the south of Spain and all those aspects that people don't know that we like to talk about.
Yes.
Because the general perception at the time was from at least a lot of Scandinavian people, the majority of Scandinavian people, that you would go to the south coast for the sun and for the cocktails,
Yes.
more or less. But we wanted to show, and we succeeded
like
showing
taking tourists as
many other aspects.
Another label. So yeah.
We showed the cultural places, we showed the skiing, the polo, we showed, all kinds of sports. And just that, the place has a lot more to offer than people basically thought back where we come from in Scandinavia. So that was great to be part of, right? So another one, you already mentioned the Snow Girl, and then we have some iconic film showcases we should mention as well. And
Living the Daylight.
we have to mention the Living Daylight from 1987.
James Bond.
Yeah, a James Bond movie recorded on Gibraltar. And there's this classic scene where he is paragliding down from the rock. The rock is a very iconic and historic, very important place to see when you visit Gibraltar. I mean, Gibraltar is a rock. That's why it has the nickname The Rock. So you can
It's
see.
not about it is not the actor we're
You
talking
can, this place, this little UK, little England, it's a rock. You can see the rock from quite a few different places in Andalusia, especially on the coast. But it's very amazing. And you can move in, you can see the caves inside, and you will learn everything about the history, the war between the Spain and England. England or Gibraltar wanted to defend that they had taken this rock during a war, and Spain wanted it back.
It's definitely a historical landmark to go to if you want a little bit of history while you are in Marbella as well. It's only like 45 minutes away.
It's a very interesting place to go. Living Daylights, Gibraltar, 1987.
Yes.
Amazing movie. Amazing movie. And just now that we are in the James Bond genre, we should send a message to one of the biggest specialists in the James Bond, let's say, legendary story of James Bond. Anders Fried from Sweden. He's an absolute top specialist.
You have to look him up because he is the...
And he's an agent in the movies as well.
The top of the top.
And we met him actually during movie recordings that happened partly in our own house a couple of years ago. So he's an amazing guy, right? And especially, so I just wanted to mention that the Marbella Club was the preferred place for people like Sean Connery and Roger Moore for many years. So there are several references to James Bond on the South Coast, and Living Daylight is definitely one of them. With Timothy Dalton. Important to say, right?
Timothy Dalton.
Yes. Then we move on to The Business from 2005. That's another glimpse into the life of Costa del Sol.
And what do we find here?
So that was recorded in Puerto Banús, and there was some authentic bars featured. So that was, 2005, The Business. Another movie, right?
The Business.
It's called The Business.
I was just in a minute thinking about when is it coming, the point? The Business.
I know the list is long, so how can you remember all these productions?
Right. The Business.
You know.
2000.
Then we have another movie called El Niño from 2014. So that was focusing on actually created near Gibraltar, and it was and in Marbella surroundings as well.
Right.
So any other that you can mention, or should we get the whole, ChatGPT, whatever list on the table? What do you think?
That's a good idea.
But we do prefer human experiences over that.
I know.
Yeah,
just really.
We do. That's why we basically create this show. Because it's great that you can look up all that knowledge on the internet, Google, Chat, whatever they call it, but it's not real experiences, right? It's not the spoken word. It's not live. It's not real people. So that's why we do what we do.
So it's good we can fact check it.
So let's move on to the, we can fact check it as well. And we have made quite a few fact checks
as well.
of ChatGPT. And I must say, our list of restaurants and hotels and so on is pretty much unbeatable compared to ChatGPT, because somehow they have old restaurants, let's say, you remember when we looked up El Portalón, it doesn't exist, it's now a Lupito del Mar. So there are certain mistakes
and even also hotels
that are not corrected yet. But I'm happy we're contributing to correcting that, because in the end, they'll be picked up by ChatGPT as well. So thanks to us for doing that.
Yeah. Sam Altman is fine.
Which is,
you can thank me later.
Thanks, Altman can thank us later. Then we have the second best exotic Marigold Hotel from 2015, recorded in Marbella and Malaga. And it was about exploration and self-discovery, that movie, right? So that is more or less the current list.
You really nailed that.
I'm sure there are many more.
You really nailed that list.
Actually, we forgot to mention all the Westerns. There were quite a few Western movies that you would have thought were recorded in America.
But it's actually a place even for that. You can go and visit.
East of Malaga.
Like a very rural, desert place.
Between La Herradura, beautiful place, and Malaga, and a bit inlands, right in between.
Do you remember the name?
That's the Western, let's say, version of Hollywood on Costa del Sol. Yeah. We'll look up the name.
Do they call that the spaghetti westerns?
Spaghetti westerns, yeah. That's so. Then there is actually another, it's very important that we also mention the Andalusian Crush. It's actually a promotional movie made by Junta de Andalucía, so the authorities of Andalusia, to just literally inform people about how amazing Andalusia is. And amazingly enough, they have a big advertising campaign on Times Square. So when you're on Times Square and you see Andalusian Crush, it's based on featuring some of the TV series and TV shows that we've mentioned, and telling the story about Andalusia and attracting people to come over and experience the culture. And there is a direct flight from New York to Malaga, so it goes hand in hand with that campaign.
They did a very good job.
Like the Marbella way goes hand in hand with that. You know, it's all about the Marbella way.
It's all about the Marbella way.
And let's remember to say that when we talk about the Marbella way, and we focus a lot on Marbella because we have a lot of experiences from there, again, what we want to reflect into this as well is that it can be other destinations, but what we want to encourage to go and follow your dreams and try to travel out short periods, long periods of your life, and follow your Marbella way.
Follow your Marbella way.
Yeah.
That is the mantra for today. Do we have anything more to cover today? Or did we go the whole way?
I'm sure there are many productions we haven't mentioned, but I think that's...
So if the guys are listening and they have any more to add, they're welcome to comment on that.
Yeah.
In the link below.
Exactly. If there are any productions we've forgotten, we could mention there is a film studio right at a place called Cancelada, which is between Estepona and Marbella, and we once filmed there with Danish television. And what I wanted to show is that this place is coming alive. We actually have been in contact with quite a few production companies to get that, because it's a huge place and it really deserves to come back to its original purpose. Mundo Studio, yeah. It's owned by a Lebanese family. So anyway, it's not in use. And we went to see
the premises. It's like quite big, actually.
There is water in the cellars, and it's like totally like a
minor refurbishment.
Looks like a movie setting. So it's fulfilling the purpose in that sense. But it should be cleaned up to get back to operation. And that we can only encourage.
We have to manifest that.
People to get into that.
And what I want to add, actually, that if you want to see that episode, you can actually find it for Sun for Millions.
We could actually even link to that.
Yes, we could link to that because it's actually in English. We're not only speaking the Danglish language.
But there are other companies already. This could be the biggest one.
And if people are struggling, what we are saying, like, we will subtitle this, because sometimes I'm like struggling on my words because I'm getting so excited.
It's true that we are Danish, and we learned German, French, and Latin, and certain other languages at school. So because nobody speaks Danish, only 5 million people, and we prefer to actually speak with people internationally instead. So if people wonder where our accent comes from, it's from Denmark.
It is from Denmark.
Yeah. Copenhagen.
So if you have anything more you think we should investigate or talk about, let us know. And until then,
see you in not only the California of Europe, but Europe's Hollywood, Marbella.